Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to Bet Online today to get in on all the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet Online, the game starts here. Bet on.
Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that?
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Fucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Probably like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right, shout out to the fam, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Big ups to the family, man. We in this thing, Sports Coma, representing the mighty Who Dat Nation Christmas Eve installation. Much love to y'all, man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. And man, it's Christmas Eve. Much love. Hope y'all guys are having a fantastic day, man. We up in this thing, man. Listen, yo, and I think I've done this quite a few times over the many years. We did a pre-Christmas installment of the Coma. This one, you know, we're just gonna sit back, chill, and kind of go over a few things on this episode of the show. But man, I feel kind of inclined to kind of bust one of my favorite Christmas songs on y'all, man, and in celebration of the season, you know. Shout out to y'all, man. Bet y'all didn't know Donny Hathaway had a music video for that song, huh? They did it well after the fact, man, but as I just felt inclined, man, to kind of do it. That's one of my favorite all-time songs, man, Donny Hathaway. When I hear that song, I know what time it is, you dig? So much love to y'all. Appreciate y'all for being in the stream, man. Much love. I see y'all, man. Appreciate you out there. Levon, I see you, fam. GM Kev, Young City 9 Row. Big ups to y'all, man. I see you. OG Jerry, Brother Slim in this thing, Hemisphere as well. King Chosen One, Kevin Johnson. Big ups to you, bro. Quavadius, what's up, bro? Bullet Family Travel Vlog. What's up, y'all? Appreciate you. Chantel, what's popping, Queen? Appreciate my ladies, the queens out there as always. Who that Chris? What's up, brother? Appreciate you. Can you to you. Marcus, big ups to you, man, as well. Ty, I see you, fam. Appreciate you. As always, big ups to all you guys, man. And listen, man, even though we are a 5-10 ball club, man, this is, and I've often talked about the growing pains associated with making the correct changes, right? And we're going to go over some stuff. I got some stuff tuned up. I'm going to play for you, but I'm also going to go over some articles and stuff and kind of get more solution based. And that's what I do. Often talk about the things that's wrong with the team, but also I also get into the aspect where we then cover and talk about exclusively solutions and how to fix this thing. But I'm also realistic on the approach. I don't see a fantasy situation occurring where I think Mickey Loomis has the answer to any of these things. I'm just going to keep it all the way funky with you. I'm just going to be honest with you. The guy is responsible for all this, and he doesn't have the proper temperament needed to fix it. He doesn't. But in the end, I think I have faith. I don't have faith in Mickey Loomis. I don't have faith in the Saints organization, but I do have faith in you guys. And that's enough to make a change, if you know what I mean. So we're not really too much inclined about it, but let's get into it, man. We're gonna start off with Rizzi. Rizzi had a interview today where he kind of talked about some of the stuff. He had an opportunity to go over the film. I don't usually pop up on Tuesday, but it's Christmas Eve, and there's also specials on the Patreon stream for the family members, the YouTube membership family, and the Patreon champions. We do have the All 22 study up there for you guys, entertainment, lock content for the fam tonight. But like I said, man, we went over it. It was pitiful. It was pitiful. The offensive line never got off the plane. It was terrible. And I pinpointed, I talked about how Cesar Ruiz is Cesar Sally Ruiz. He's constantly beat, always Swiss cheese, always beat. Guys were slow to the party. They were dumb, false starts, pre-snap penalties, not knowing who they were supposed to block. And this was the 5 starters in the third game that they were back before they started hitting on injuries and missing. So, I mean, I don't sugarcoat it. This offensive line is pathetic, man. The tackles are young. I can give them some grace because these are young guys, inexperienced. But you got guys like Lucas Patrick, who's not a real starter. He's a backup. He looks just like a backup. Eric McCoy is melancholy and weak looking, fragile at times. No leadership on the line at all. And then the right guard is Cesar Sally Ruiz, who had 1 year and he just gets beat all the time. He's out of position. And I'm just sick of seeing it, man. I'm sick of looking at the tape. And I don't see how these gentlemen can look at the tape and say, well, we got a chance, and not fix the fact that these linemen are dumb, man. I just don't understand, man. Maybe I'm a little too rough and rugged. But I figure like how the offense didn't show up at all yesterday, then they shouldn't even got paid yesterday. How about that? How about that? How about you don't get paid? We don't pay you for nothing. How about we don't pay your ass because you didn't even get off the plane? How about that? Merry Christmas on that shit. So anyway, let's hear from Rizzi. I ain't gonna listen to the whole damn thing, but we're gonna play some of this and then we're gonna move around. Here we go. Come on, Rizzi, let's go.
Saw on the film, it was quite frankly pretty much summed up with what I said, last night. I will say this, anytime you're in a situation like this, naturally we got eliminated from the playoffs during the trip. And so, I know the question was asked to me last night about, just effort. And, it was the first game that we, certainly the score wasn't very competitive. So I was just, really looking for that on film and really couldn't find it. I saw a lot of great effort from guys.
Stop the cap.
We just didn't.
Man, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Come on, brother. Come on.
So I was just, really looking for that on film and really couldn't find it. I saw a lot of great effort from guys. We just didn't execute well.
So how's a great effort then? You see the double speak? That's why I was telling y'all, man. This guy, and I heard family members say he's just a passionate Dennis Allen. It's like, what? Oh my goodness. A passionate Dennis Allen. That's what they said.
What?
I know. I was like, oh no, I don't see that. But the thing is, who no. How did you talking about a great effort? No. There's only one effort that makes great, and that's a successful effort. All other efforts are not even they don't register. I mean, this the type of this is what we dealing with. This what kind of ridiculousness we dealing with,
Really
fam.
looking for that on film and really couldn't find it. I saw a lot of great effort from guys.
He couldn't find it on film.
So I was just, really looking for that on film and really couldn't find it. I saw a lot of great effort from guys.
No, that's a damn lie, and you're a liar. That's a damn lie, especially the offensive line. They were out there getting beat individually. They were slow to block. Cesar Ruiz was getting Swiss cheese like he always does. Trevor Penning is blocking too high. He was pushed back into the lap of the quarterback again for a third consecutive game. Tali Fuaga was out there false starting. There was situation. I mean, my goodness, what the hell is this guy talking about? What is he talking about? Absolutely insane. This is what I'm saying. These people are jokes, man. If if you don't know what I'm talking about, go sign up for the Patreon. I break it down. I did it several hours before I popped up here. As I went over the tape, it disgusted me. And exclusively, I'm talking about the offensive line. Just talking about the line itself. You cannot sit up here and talk about it's just that's why this guy need to get the hell. We need to find some real people that know what they're looking. It's a special teams coach masquerading as a head coach. He doesn't even know what film you talking about you looked at. Even novice looked at the film and see the Saints were getting abused offensively, especially on the offensive line. Which if the line did not come to play, I said it in the preview, if the line didn't come to play, the Saints would not have, they can't win the game. And the offensive line did what it did in the first half of the Washington game. It disappeared for an entire game this time. And it's just unacceptable, man. It's unacceptable.
Really looking for that on film and really couldn't find it. I saw a lot of great effort from guys. We just didn't execute well. I mean, we went into the game saying that the start of the game and the beginning of the game was going to be crucial. And, they scored a touchdown their first 3 drives. So we really, and then we didn't do ourselves much favors on the offensive side.
So how you had good effort?
As well. So, that really was the thing. We just didn't execute. So
how was it good if you didn't execute, bro? Make it make sense.
Nothing that stuck out on film more than just the lack of execution and the lack of playmaking.
The lack of execution and lack of playmaking is not a good effort then, bro. What are you talking about? It's not a good effort. It's nothing to be proud of. They did not show up offensively. And if I'm talking about the line, listen, if there was going to be success had, offensively speaking, the line, they shouldered the burden. There were 5 starters out there. Once again, the Saints offensive linemen did what they did like in the first half of the Washington game. They did what they did against the Giants. They come out there, they're weak, they're dumb, they're undisciplined, they get pushed around. They don't block as a cohesive unit. There was a play I seen 3 guys bumping into each other. I mean, put one in the chat if y'all remember the play where there was supposed to be a play set up. These 3 particular linemen thought it was a screen, and they were literally bumping into each other. And the 3 guys were Tali Fuaga, Shane Lemieux, Pepe Lepew, and the 3rd lineman, I forgot the guy name, Lucas Patrick. They were bumping into each other. And I'm like, what are these guys doing? The play when Spencer Rattler got knocked down and the ball knocked loose from him was a play where these 3 bumblers some kind of way ended up in the same bumping into 2 of the guys bumping. It was some Three Stooges stuff. It's just terrible. And remember, these guys practice several times during the week leading up to the game. So how do you look like that and you're supposed to be practicing and that's acceptable? To me, looking at film, and I know how to look at film, this guy is not telling the truth. That's dishonest commentary right there. Either that or he's foolish. You don't know what he's looking at, because that is not a good effort. That wasn't no effort. If it's lack of execution and the other thing that he talked about, then you can't sit up here and give them no credit for that, bro. You giving credit for lack of execution? What kind of coach are you? You can't do that. That's irresponsible coaching. That's not how we.
That's
how we not going to win.
What do you expect? Do you think there's a realistic chance Derek Carr could play this week?
I'm hoping so. We came out of that. We came out of the last few days with him getting a little bit better. So I think at some point this week we're going to try to simulate, what it would be like in a game.
That's a yes.
And see if he's able to function. And so if we can do that, and he can get in there, like I said, all the factors that go into it. Can he protect himself? Can he protect the ball? Can we function on offense? All that. His the way he's attacked the rehab and the PT and all that has been impressive.
That's a yes. Derek Carr is going to force his way back to play against the Raiders because he wants to play against his former old team and beat them, even though it don't make any difference. And I would caution Derek Carr, and he's not going to listen, because this is something that a head coach who's supposed to have a brain supposed to shut that guy down. There is no way, if you give a damn about Derek Carr, that you would place him behind that Saints offensive line. There is no way that I would even do that. And then they're going to roll out the same guys. McCoy's banged up. I don't know what he's doing. Lucas Patrick is banged up now, so they'll circulate the poor, terrible backups that we have in there that don't know what they're doing. I don't know why these guys are on the team and why we didn't attempt to find better backups. It's been the entire season we've been finagling around with these people. So Derek Carr is going to come back. I would caution Derek Carr not, because it can be catastrophic for you if you get back in there. And then the odd thing and crazy thing about it is that if Derek Carr does play in the Raiders game on the short week and he gets knocked around because the Raiders going to knock, because that Saints offensive line, I would not trust it at all. And they get back there and sack him and hit him hard and fall on him, and that wrist is still, that's a fractured wrist with a cast on it, shot up with dope pain, with painkiller. I call it dope. It's not gonna be a good look, and if it gets re-injured too bad, that can end up affecting next year when you're supposed to be healthy enough to make it through whatever the situation is. So is it really worth you getting out there and kind of putting that little clause in jeopardy? But once again, most of these guys are governed by emotion. We'll see what happens here, man. But that's enough of Rizzi. I care not to listen to him. As more games expound and you get to hear more and more of the rhetoric, you understand that if accountability is not at the forefront, but you can blow up punters and throw your damn hat down and your headphones down, blow up a punter and embarrass him on the play, which didn't mean anything because it was called back because of a holding by the Giant player. The punt returner went for a touchdown that game, and he blew up because the guy went inside as opposed to outside to make the tackle, right? He blew him up. Kamara had to save him, that kind of stuff. You don't do that to nobody else except for the rookies. You don't go up there and blow up Cesar Salad Ruiz and none of them offensive guys. He damn sure don't go over there and do none of that. Has no insight, no ability, no plan on how to deal with whatever's going on offense. Just whatever you guys say we're gonna do, and that's why we don't need that kind of character. We're gonna send you after this season over with. You can go back to coaching on the special teams, man. That's why you never was at this level, because you behaving like the guy before. You can't do that. You got to have some leadership and not just a big fat mouth with a red face yelling at everybody and jumping up and down on the sideline. It's more than just. It's just more. I'm sorry.
What?
I know. All right, but anyway, let's keep it moving, man. Let's move on to this. I thought I'd share this with y'all too and introduce y'all to this gentleman. How about this guy? This is a gentleman right here. This is the team president, Mr. Dennis Lauscher. Dennis Lauscher is a very busy man. He's the president of the Pelicans, the president of the Saints, and also on the board of directors for 47 hospitals for Oshner. So how in the hell does he have time to be able to fulfill his obligations to the Saints and the Pelicans? As you can see, his leadership, if you call it that, is severely wanting or lacking rather, because both teams have 5 wins apiece. The Saints are 5-10. The Pelicans are 5-25. And that's it's a common comical question that I've been asking over the last several streams about which team gets the 6 wins first. Is it the Saints or is it the Pelicans? Isn't that funny? The correlating factor is this gentleman here. He is the president of both teams, despite the fact that he doesn't know much about basketball or football. but he does how to make he know how to make the business work. This man here is totally outside of his scope. He needs to be rebranded properly, and the Saints need to then hire a proper president of operations, not a guy that does business in terms of get the deals line up and all that. But then again, the Saints are letting you know what they care more about, right? More about the business side, and as opposed to the winning side. When they over-rely, there's no accountability, and so on and so forth. So Gail, you already know Gail, but this is the sneaky man, the quiet man. That's the boss of Mickey Loomis that you don't often hear from. Let's listen a little bit to Dennis Lauscher. This comes from a press conference that was at the NFL owners meetings earlier this year.
Before we feel that in New Orleans, and they feel that in New York. So we're feeling good.
Any requested revisions or anything like that? I know you guys felt like the facility obviously has been upgraded.
Oh, the NFL is very excited with the new facility, a new building. They're very excited with the renovations we've done. Very happy with the progress we've made, and so are our fans. I would tell you one thing, that we talk about is that we have a number of new events coming to the Super Bowl with the NFL that were different than the last time we hosted. And so I think, the focus is really on getting the community to come to the game or be involved. And if you're not involved in the game, be involved in the things that are ancillary to the game day experience. And there's a lot of focus on that, a lot of opportunities to participate if you're a New Orleanian or a Saints fan or in the region. And so I think that's going to be different. I think that's going to be outstanding for our community.
That's the focus. The focus is to get you involved in the game day experience, And how is that going to happen if the team is losing, regardless of the fact the Saints feel like they can still promote you and prompt you to come out to the game? This is what he does. He don't know nothing about nothing else, but he knows how to try to trick you into coming down to some of these games, though.
I guess it's tough to get into a permanent rotation every 4 or 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah, I don't, 4 or 5 years. I don't know if anybody's in a permanent rotation 4 or 5, even 6 years. It seems like that rotation, seems to be growing as new facilities come on board. But I'll say this, and consistently, time after time after time, you can continue to hear that New Orleans is at the top of the list of cities where people want to come, and sponsors want to come, the media want to come, obviously fans want to come. The New Orleans Saints continue to be one of the biggest draws for visiting fans. Other teams see that. So it's a great game for the city, a great opportunity for the city. And look, this is hospitality is what we do. So we do it well, and I think we're going to continue to be in that rotation.
Now, football wise, I know you don't do all the football stuff, but how do you see this franchise going?
Okay, now did you hear that? Let me slow it down, because watch what and JD actually says it. Listen to this, and this is the part where I want y'all to pay attention, because y'all think I'll just be saying some shit. But people that have been listening to me for years know that I speak the truth. Listen to what JD asks him after he finished prattling on about this.
It's a great game for the city, great opportunity for the city. And look, this is hospitality is what we do. So we do it well, and I think we're going to continue to be in that rotation.
Now, football wise, I know you don't do all the football stuff, but how do you see this franchise going this offseason with the additions made?
Did you catch that? Put one in the chat if you just caught what he just said. Did you catch that? Did you hear what? And John DeSacier works for the Saints and the Pelicans. He's a reporter that's paid for them, just like Mike Hoss is. Did you hear what he said? Let me play it one more time.
Football wise, I know you don't do all the football stuff, but how do you see this franchise going this offseason?
He don't do all the football stuff. This is your team president. Even the reporters know it. We know that you don't do the football stuff. What? Well, how is this gentleman the team president then? How we got a team president that don't do, quote, the football stuff, unquote?
What?
I know, man. That's crazy. That's crazy, but that's what you got. That's why you're a joke. That's why the Who Dat Nation is taken as a joke. Where they do that at? Except for the city of New Orleans. Even the reporters know, man. You don't do the football stuff. You know what the football stuff is? The football stuff is evaluating. stuff on the field, making sure the general manager do what he's supposed to do. And I'm gonna play this response, and then we're gonna get away from this. But I'm just letting y'all know. That's why I pulled this up so you can hear it.
Obviously, fans want to come. The New Orleans Saints continue to be one of the biggest draws for visiting fans. Other teams see that. So it's a great great game for the city, great opportunity for the city. And look, hospitality is what we do. So we do it well.
No,
and,
you don't
and
do the
I think we're going to
football
continue to be in that rotation.
Football wise, I know you don't do all the football stuff, but how do you see this franchise going this offseason?
They'll do all the football stuff.
Definitely heading in the right direction. Real excited. Real excited with our coaching staff. Real excited. With the opportunities we have in draft. I mean, again, this is Mickey's, question more so than my question, but I know he's excited. I know, speaking to Dennis, he's really excited about the direction of the team and where we're headed, and we'll see where we go. But we're feeling confident.
Is a front office?
I notice how nervous and stumbling, bumbling politicians speak that he involves himself in. Prior to that's why I let you get a little bit more of the interview to start it off. He was very confident when he was talking about business and sponsorships and getting you to come to the games and this, that, and the third. But when he gets into the football stuff, he starts stumbling, bumbling, and then he literally says, he throws it to Mickey Loomis. Hey, this is more Mickey Loomis's stuff. How is this guy Mickey Loomis's boss? How is he supposed to use whatever he knows, which he don't know nothing about football on the field is the point. How could he oversee Mickey Loomis? How could he be Mickey Loomis? He's literally Mickey Loomis's boss. And you heard what he just said. This is why you don't have any accountability at the top level, because this man don't know what he's supposed to do. And he's over relying on Mickey. And he even said, I'm going to play
off season with the additions made.
Definitely heading in the right direction. Real excited. Real excited with our coaching staff. Real excited. With the opportunities we have in draft. I mean, again, this is Mickey's, question more so than my question. But
good Lord, this is Mickey Loomis's question more than our question. But since anyway, all right. So since we don't want him to be even more red-faced than he already is, let's go to Mickey Loomis and hear what he has to say about the Saints. Here we go.
It was a decision to bring Dennis back a fairly easy one, and also like how much did the finishing 4-1 over the season?
Yeah. Look, here's what I think. I think sometimes, the easy thing to do, the lazy thing to do is look at the results of a season and say, it's a coach's fault or it's the quarterback's fault. I think oftentimes you have to look beyond that. I was prepared for this question, right?
Oh, what are you talking about, man?
Chuck Noll, his first 3 years, Hall of Fame coach. He was 1-13, 5-9, 6-8. But they recognize that this guy's a good football coach, right? Bill Belichick. Here's his first 3 seasons: 6-10, 7-9, 7-9. Tom Landry, 0-11, 4-9, 5-8. 4-10, 5-8. Hall of Fame coaches, all of them. Bill Walsh, first year, 2-14. Second year, 6-10. So I think the easy thing to do is just look at the results and say, oh no, we got to have a change. You got to look beyond that. What are the reasons why we were 9-8 instead of 13-4? And look, it's collective. It's the players. It's the coaches. It's me.
Notice
it's our personnel staff, our roster. It's variables sometimes that we don't have any control of. And so my assessment is Dennis Allen is a good coach.
What? No, what are you talking about, man?
Absolutely insane. Listen, man, let me tell y'all something, man. This aged perfectly. This aged perfectly. This aged so well. This is so awesome. These are good. Yeah. All this cocky, gum chewing arrogance don't exactly work right now, does it? Dennis Allen's ass on the street after a 7-game losing streak and loses to the worst team in the NFL at the time, which was the Carolina Panthers. Oh my goodness. So that didn't age too well, did it, family? But this is who Dennis Lauscher was alluding to. This guy? Really? Now you can see why. So you can see why we having some issues here. After I played this guy, well, he said he looked at the tape and he didn't see anything wrong. We just, we seen a lot of good effort. We just didn't execute and we didn't touch it. Well, how's a good effort if you didn't execute? Then we went to this gentleman here. He was talking about business and he went from business to flip flopping, and is a big guy, but you seen him back flipping his ass off. He even put on some shiny, slick bottom penny loafers and started moonwalking for us during the interview. And then he leads and alludes to this gum chewing clown who has absolutely no idea of what's happening with the team. He's actually the architect of the destruction of the New Orleans Saints over the last 4 years. It is in that he is the main reason, the main arch villain of the saga while the Saints house is on fire. He sits there as smug as he can be. I got the right answers. Yes, this guy here. He's a good coach. I guess all them stats you prattled down about Bill Belichick and Walsh, how's that doing it for you, buddy? Huh? You still feel the same way? About Mr. Dennis Allen? Terrible. But in the end, this is the point. The point of the matter is, I show those things to you not to depress you, but also but to follow up with solutions, because these people are the problems. You are built wrong. The Saints are built incorrectly. You cannot have a owner who's a brand ambassador. She does all the charity work, that doesn't know football on the field, then have a president of football operations who doesn't know anything. And even the reporter says, we know you don't know about, quote, the football stuff, end quote. You know, the stuff that helps us win. But he over relies on this guy right here. And this guy is the problem. And these two other people are problems too. But you can't have one dude steering the ship like this. You need a committee approach. And we have to have a president of operations who knows football. I got some options for y'all tonight. We're going to go over a few things. We're going to go over some articles and a few other things. But also, before we go there, let me answer this question right here. We're going to talk about it. And Brother Gundam was the one that inspired this show, because I would just be chilling and having a couple of sips or something. But I said, let me talk to the Who Dat Nation, because Brother Gundam, shout out to you, bro. Inspired tonight's stream. And, I was thinking about doing something, maybe a little bit here. Not so, just a little few thoughts here or there. But Brother Gundam, shout out to that brother. He threw some stuff out there. And I said, let me go ahead on and do this here. His comment to me, or question rather, was cute. Can you address the future of this team? Also, can you address the QB situation? I really like Ralph. Also, you've been spot on about the QB talent, like Hurst and he says Jalen Hurst, the QB of the Bills and the Ravens, Josh Allen. We talked about him. We talked about Lamar Jackson. There's a couple others. Just want to know your take on, should we move on from Rattler or be patient? Now, we're going to kind of answer a lot of that throughout the day, but, the quick answer to that, not to prattle on too long, is the future of the Saints team is right now undecided. And the reason why I'm saying that is because there are rumors that a change in it at the top in the administrative level of the team supposed to happen. How solid are those rumors? I don't know. Shaky. Not as strong as some of the things that I usually hear or get on the side. But I do realize there are some rumors out there. But it can be enlarged or grown with your help. The Who Dat Nation, the diehards, those guys, the intelligent people. It can be helped to manifest even quicker, if you know what I mean. And I'm saying that because their change is based upon your amount of dissatisfaction. You see, it's all based on you. I've not been, quiet about that. I'll always shoot at the dynamic. Two things I often rail against: the fan comment, when them calling you a fanatic. I think that's disrespectful. It's more like a zealot, like calling you a zealot. Like you can't, I just don't like that. I don't like the term. This is a disempowering term. I like supporter better, because it does show you as a person of control. You have the ability to decide on what you're going to do, if you're going to give support or not. The opposite is devoid of process of logic. So I've liked the empowering term more. The other thing is the fact that I've often talked about your power dynamic in relationship to the team with that term. Your relationship, you could move mountains if we operate as a collective. We can move mountains. That's what it's all about. It's all set up for you to be disenfranchised, for you to be broken apart. And that's not because of you. They sponsor and put people in between you to cause dissension. They do this all the time. They do it. I remember I shared something with the family members on Patreon. It was a dude who was a informant. His name was Darthar Perry. Put one in the chat if y'all ever heard that name. He was doing stuff for years against certain groups and getting paid really handsomely too. Some kind of way he had an attack of a conscience. His interview, he did this interview to try to redeem himself. Not just to the community, but for his own thing. He couldn't sleep at night. He felt like what he was doing, that what he did was wrong. So he came out against it. He started telling the truth about everything. He talked about the COINTEL stuff. He also talked about something people don't talk about, which is what he called it the Black Deaths. And I don't hear nobody talking about that. The reason why I'm throwing that up there is because this happens. The way you don't get separated is you understand who the Darthar Perrys are. Those are usually the guys that's trying to, push you in a non-powering position. Me personally, I often believe that every individual should be empowered because there's enough success for everybody. I don't like to hear anybody struggling or doing bad. That's why I often promote the family members to champion their lives. If you don't like something in your life, look in the mirror, because more than likely, if we draw in these negative circumstances, we're usually some kind of way involved in the process. So you take a good look in the mirror at yourself first. And then, before we point fingers at all the people around us, let's take a good look in that mirror, see what we can do there first. See what in those changes usually fix a great deal of the issues around you when you take a look, make those changes. But that's what I'm saying. I believe in that. But at the end of the day, when we talk about the New Orleans Saints organization as a collective, we need to move in that direction and show some discipline by not showing support. If we do that, like we ratchet that philosophy up, that mindset up, we can do a lot more. Look what we were able to do with just the small use of power that we had. We were able to influence Gail to fire that guy over the chagrin of this idiot on the screen right here, who didn't want to fire him, and he's sitting on a 7-game losing streak. And the reports came out that she fired them because of you, because you said enough is enough. So it matters not how much money they believe they're worth or how much it is. At the end of the day, it all grinds to a halt if you say no. That's how you're at the beginning. You're the genesis of it. You're not the end. You're the beginning of it. That's what I'm saying. They cannot operate it without you. They need you to be there. But if you're there responsibly, you have the right set of protocols or directives for them to follow, they'll snap to it, and they'll clear out the filth. They'll clear out the incompetent people. They'll move them out of the way to appease you because they know that you fed up. And that's that leads me to that situation. We need to get even higher on code. We got Dennis Allen out of here. Now we've been telling them in emails and in phone calls to the building is that we need a change in the administrative level. Mickey Loomis needs to be removed from the general manager position. He can keep the VP job. He can't do too much damage with that. But as a general manager, he needs to be removed from that position. Dennis Lauscher needs to be removed from his president's position, and they need a real president of football operations, a guy that does the quote football stuff, end quote. You got me? So anyway, that's the part of it. And that ties to, based on that situation, that tells you what future you're moving in. Because if you allow Mickey Loomis, who is the one that's destroying the team by his own negligence and incompetence and non-vision, then you can't expect change to happen next year or the year after that, because this is a guy burning everything down with dumb decisions, and he doesn't want to come out and be questioned. He's famous for hating these end of the season press conferences. Then why be the general manager? Give him up. Give the job up. He hates the end of the season. You know why? Because he doesn't like to be questioned. What kind of dude is this that's supposed to be a general manager? This stuff's supposed to be his plan, but you mean to tell me you can't answer questions about why you failing? What kind of person is this? So in the end, that's the big sticking point. The QB situation is still up in the air because you'll keep Derek Carr if Mickey Loomis is making the decisions, because Mickey Loomis is not going to let him go unless somebody else forces him out of here that's higher than him in the organization, and God knows it won't be Lauscher. So you see what I'm saying? So a lot of the decision makings will be made with him getting a coach that agrees with his set of principles, which will then force you into the direction that you're currently going, which is to play out the string with these veteran contracts. And then after 2 years, then you'll have the money freed up where you can compete in free agency. That's this guy on the screen plan in a nutshell. It is what it is, not mine, but this is what I figured out. And he basically alluded to it and say so himself. So unless this is changed, you're going to see that plan play out. So I hope that kind of clears some stuff up with you, my brother, on that. And we're going to touch a little bit more on it. But anyway, let's hit this article right here, man. Let's hit this article right here. It says Monday Night Football. Shout out to, I think this, Darren Gray says from the Saints Wire. Shout out to the Saints Wire, man. John Sigler. And Monday Night Football should serve as a sign to Saints ownership. It's time for an overhaul. He's saying it's time for an overhaul of the team. Now, let's see what he's talking about, right? Saints lost in a miserable fashion to the Packers. We know this. The changes, he says, those chances have to start Darren Rizzi and could extend all the way to Mickey Loomis. The roster isn't good, and that's the fault of the general manager. True. Loomis' future is difficult to predict, but there isn't much more Rizzi can show to prove he should be the Saints' next coach. I disagree with that. Hell no. You just hear this interview I played. The team, the offense was the main reason why the team didn't even score a point, didn't even get lined up. When they did get back there, they fumbled the ball. And no, Rizzi's definitely not the coach. I've had enough. I've did my own evaluation, and he's wanting on he doesn't know enough about the offense. He's not a full-time coach, and there are way more qualified people out there to take the job. But Rizzi would be your coach if you're if you're Mickey Loomis, because he will keep those directives that Mickey likes. It should not be Darren Rizzi. He's not an NFL head coach. He's not. That's why he spent the majority of he's just an old man. Not old man, but he's older in life. There's nobody beating the door down to make him an NFL coach. Maybe he goes to college and do it or something like that, but no. This man's not an NFL coach. No disrespect to him, but he's not. Let's just keep it all the way funky, man. We've seen enough. This is the moment for complete new image. It's vital that Gil Benson see that. After the Peyton departure, Dennis Allen took over the name of continuity. It was a questionable but logical decision at the moment. Taking the same approach this hiring cycle would be beyond questionable and illogical, because what are you looking to continue? Right? Dennis Allen took in the name of continuity. Yes, and I agree with the writer here, because this is the focal point of a non-imaginative mind. Like, you want to keep cycling back to the golden era and golden time. This is a person stuck in the time warp. This is a dinosaur-minded individual who doesn't have a futuristic outview to look ahead and say, hey, man, let's try something else. We've tried that. We've reached back to Dennis Allen. That was a miserable failure. Why are you doing the same things over again? Looking to get a different result. That is the literal definition of insanity, because Mickey Loomis is insane. He really is crazy. He's out of his mind. This dude is out of his mind, man. There should be no desire to keep it in-house. And I agree, because you need new voices, new perspective, new vision, new direction. Moving from Allen to Rizzi gave you those things in small doses, but small changes won't get you where you want to be. Monday night game is an example of that. Poor discipline, clock management, tackling were all on display at different moments. Maybe you wouldn't have gotten close to the comeback against the Commanders with Allen. That's a small change, but Rizzi isn't the guy to beat the Commanders either. Rizzi still hasn't defeated a quality team, and a near comeback can't be a headline on his resume. The Saints need new leadership. That conversation can extend to general manager, but for now, we'll keep it on the sideline. So I agree with the man with that, man. Shout out to Mr. Gray, man, on this article. because it puts into, not in a long drawn out way, but it puts into focus some of the situations that the Saints have to face for change to happen on the horizon. You got to move these other guys out of the way, and it's Mickey Loomis is the issue. Not to mention how he tore up the team salary cap situation. That's a whole nother thing at all that kind of put us on this path. So what are we looking at here? Kai Hartley's obviously a guy that can help out, but how about 20 potential NFL general managers? Let's look at this one right here. Shout out to AZ Sports, man. This is time for the NFL year that haven't, teams that haven't been successful start thinking about the future. The Jets, for instance, have already fired general manager Joe Douglas. After our list of potential head coaches, let's do a similar exercise with executives in line to be general manager over the next couple of years, right? These are a few names. Now, we got Kai Hartley. We got Kai Hartley here, and I like him, but these are some other names, right? Brian Gaine, Buffalo Bills assistant general manager. He was the Texans GM for 2 years, and things went south in his relationship with Bill O'Brien. He built a good roster and helped Brandon Beane do it again with the Bills. The Bills have been phenomenal. Let's just keep it all the way funky. They had their little funky period where they were, out of contention, but the Bills have been a strong team. Coach McDermott has done a really solid job with the Buffalo Bills. They're competitive, and they get to the playoffs, and it's just they need to take the next step. But they've really, installed a pretty good team to compete in the AFC year after year. You got to give them their respect on that. Reggie McKenzie, the Miami Dolphins senior personnel executive, another former GM. He was the Raiders' top guy from 12 to 18, but lost space in his final season with Gruden. I don't know about McKenzie, Mr. McKenzie. We don't need another Raider guy here. God knows that. Matt Groh, the New England Patriots director of player personnel. Matt Groh was the top executive behind Bill Belichick in his final years of his tenure, even though he was surpassed by Elliott Wolf after Bill Belichick parted ways with the franchise. Groh is still a respected talent evaluator, which is another thing that we would need, because we kind of been slipping on that with our guy there. What's his name? I forgot the man name already, but Phil Savage, the Jets interim GM. Savage has a big track record being the Cleveland Browns general manager from 05 to 08. He was also the GM for the AFF's Arizona Hotshots 2019. He's since been with the Jets as a senior personnel advisor and was promoted to interim GM after the franchise fired Joe Douglas. And there are a few other people. You got George Kokinis. He's the vice president of player personnel for the Baltimore Ravens. When Horowitz left the Ravens to become with the Chargers guy, Kokinis was promoted to become the top guy under Eric DeCosta. He's been with the franchise since 91, first in Cleveland and after relocation to Baltimore. Think about the things that Baltimore did. You had DeCosta. You had Newsom there for years. And remember, you had a guy like Newsom who was a phenomenal GM. He kept the Ravens, he won championships with them. He just had the key. He knew how to build a good team. He knew how to keep the defense strong, the offensive line strong, a running attack, and he did a wonderful job. So we're just kind of looking at, these are some options outside of Kai, and some of these guys, you're looking at them being general managers. Some of these dudes can ultimately be, a potential president of football operations. So kind of look at them in twofold type of deals, because some of them have really good resumes. Let's look at Glenn Cook from the Browns, assistant GM, VP of player personnel. He worked for the Colts, the Packers before arriving in the Browns. He survived the Sacha Brown and John Dorsey eras and has been promoted twice under Andrew Berry. Andy Wild from the Steelers, assistant GM. He has worked with the Eagles, Steelers since Joe Douglas firing from the Jets and has been mentioned in potential candidates. Trey Brown from Cincinnati, the senior personnel executive, worked for the Patriots and Eagles, then left to the NFL to work in the AAF and the XFL. He got back to the NFL in 21 as the Bengal scout and was promoted to current role. Ed Dodds from the Colts, assistant GM. There's a bunch of these guys. Morocco Brown from the Colts as well. And Champ Kelly from Las Vegas, Will McCoy, Amir Clay from Dallas. I don't know about McClay. Ian Cunningham, I heard about him. Ray Agnew from Detroit. This is Another good one here. The Lions have arguably the best roster in the league, so don't be surprised if the staff start getting looks around the NFL. Agnew, a former Rams director of player personnel, followed Brad Holmes to Detroit in 21. That could be a good signing. Ray Agnew. That can be a really good signing right there. We can pick him up. Ryan Grigson from the Vikings, senior vice president of player personnel. Grigson's has a questionable tenure as the Colts GM between 2012 and 2016, but he's rebuilt the value since then. The Vikings under Mensa, he's the top scouting voice in the room. And the Vikings did actually a pretty job of setting themselves up with this roster. The Vikings are a surprise of the league. I did not anticipate the Vikings being this good. They've really turned it up, haven't they? Jeff Ireland, that's who I was thinking about. I don't know about Jeff Ireland, but he's the tape scout behind Mickey Loomis, and that's all you need to know. We're going to skip on him. Jim Nagy, Senior Bowl executive director. Nagy said has an NFL background working as a scout for the Commanders, the Patriots, the Chiefs, and Seahawks. Since 2018, he's been the Senior Bowl chief scout with a strong staff working under him already. So there's quite a few people, and I kind of pulled this list up because we often say, well, who's out there? Who could we look at? Who could we bring in? And some of these names fit. Some of these guys come from very reputable organizations that has sustained amount of success, and you want to kind of take some of that, bring it on to your team. And these could be potential replacements at the general manager position. Some of them have a resume that you could look at them as a potential president candidate. Some of these guys are good. And like I said, I like Kai. Kai would be the right guy because the Saints don't like change. They like hanging close. They just this really weird way of operating, which if you're a losing ass organization, I don't think you really need to do that, kind of step forward in that. All right. Anyway, and this is also goes along with that when we talk about the NFL Accelerator Program. This is what Kai Hartley is involved with. He's been with it for the last 3 years, and he's going back into the NFL to hold Accelerator Program this week as league continues to promote diversity in the front offices. NFL will host this front office and general manager accelerator program in Irving, Texas for nearly 3 dozen men and women league identifies as being GMs within the next 0 to 3 years. So it's an accelerator program to get these guys into the general manager position. And how is that supposed to happen when you got an idiot like Mickey Loomis, literally and figuratively blocking out opportunities for people to become general managers of teams, like especially with Kai Hartley. He doesn't need 2 jobs. There are 34 participants for 28 clubs taking place in this program, which begins Monday through and runs through Wednesday afternoon. The group includes former GMs, several assistant GMs, 2 members of the league's office, and various directors and scouts. The program will take participants through sessions that will touch on leadership, player engagement, leveraging media opportunities, negotiating for oneself, and body language. There will also be opportunities like in years past where these participants can mingle with decision makers from all 32 teams. The league provided biographies of all participants to team owners and decision makers, arguing both sides to do their homework before meeting this week. And they say, quote, research who they are, see where the opportunities are, that areas where you would like to engage in clubs you would like to engage with. Jonathan Bean is the NFL Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer, said in an interview with CBS, do your homework before it starts. The informal networking is a huge opportunity because you determine your own time, whether you're a candidate or whether you're a club owner, and very, very specific about who you want or who you want to talk to, right? Then it talks about it kind of breaks it down. It's got cocktails, meetings, and stuff like that. And in the past, the formal meeting has involved more than 30 tables in a large meeting room where participants go to 3 tables for 20 minutes. It sounds like speed dating, man. It's goddamn speed dating. This is speed dating for, because that's what it sounds like. You're in the big old room. You got 30 tables in a large meeting room where participants go to 3 tables for 20 minutes each, right? This year, the tables will be split into 3 rooms, so it's less crowded and noisy, and participants will go through 2 tables for 30 minutes each. So, it's kind of a speed dating thing for the NFL. And then there's a list of some of the names, man. That's a lot of people that's attending these meetings, man. A lot of people that's attending these meetings, man. Ray Agnew's there. that we just talked about, that Kevin Booth from the NFL league office. It's a bunch of people. David Blackburn, director of player personnel for the Commanders. Who else is it? Rob Brockington, senior scout for the Dolphins. Brandon Brown, his assistant GM for the Giants. Lamar Campbell, who's a development guy for Seattle. And there's so many people, man. Kai Hartley, as you see, Kai is here in the middle of it, is the SEP of football operations, assistant GM for the Saints. And there's a bunch of other cats in there too. So, yeah, it's a bunch of people. Mike Martin from the Lions is also Eric Stokes. There's a bunch of people here, man. So, I mean, yeah, you got an opportunity. And this is the thing. I don't understand how the Saints are in a situation where they feel like they can't afford not to take a look at the talent that we see there. So as a result, these are some of the changes. These are some of the names that I just wanted to share with you guys and talk about it. And if changes are going to happen on top of the team, it has to start there. And that will happen at the end of the season. So these ugly losses the Saints accrue, like the getting blanked by the Green Bay Packers, accentuates bad decisions made by Mickey Loomis and the team, which, listen, in the end, when the season is over with, all this is going to be a good promoter to help the Saints make the necessary changes. Because really, it's a negative feeling in the building and the vibe around that facility, because both the Saints and the Pelicans are two losing ass organizations. Not very much winning is going on. You see what I'm saying? Both teams are the aspirations that people have for the Saints, a team that's one of the oldest teams in the NFL, spent a ton of money on their quarterback and hasn't really gotten a return. There's been some very bad moves. Like one of the worst moves that we've had in around, outside of spending money on a guy like Marcus May. He don't pay off. You didn't come back next year with Will Harris, and he pays off for super cheap. That was a solid signing. But you look at what we did with the money for Derek Carr, it don't appear that was not a very good investment. It's a failing investment. The Jamal Williams signing was a disaster. Jamal Williams came here and literally didn't do anything for the Saints. You know what I'm saying? He had a game here or there, but the Jamal Williams signing was a disaster. That was a disaster. The money wasn't expensive, but at the same time, the Saints we just did not utilize Jamal Williams in the proper way, like the Detroit Lions did when he had 17 touchdowns in 1 year. My goodness, it was just not the same, So, and then of course you look at the draft. What we getting out of the draft? Free agencies. What we getting out of free agencies? Are we developing our draft picks to be future moves? What are we doing there? And then of course you then finish with the salary cap situation, where the Saints are currently sitting what $50-60 million in the red, and then have to rework several contracts to get back where they belong. Now I might take y'all throw questions in the chat, because often we talk about the quarterback position. And me personally, I don't think, they look at Derek Carr and say this, that, and the third about Derek Carr. I don't think you can trade Derek Carr. I don't think anybody in their right mind would take Derek Carr, simply because it's not a good contract to assume. We can criticize and make fun of Atlanta all we want, but Atlanta wasn't foolish enough to give a quarterback that kind of money. And then at the end, it's just a 1 year arrangement. Like they gave him like 180 or whatever the hell it is. But they drafted the quarterback of the future when they gave him the money, and he was just strictly a veteran move to get until you get your other guy ready, which it could possibly play that way. But they get from up under Cousins' contract next year. I mean, really, at the end of this year, they get up off the Cousins' contract, and Penix walks right into it. So, they just made a veteran move there, and that's fine, being intelligent. But as far as the Saints are concerned, it's not that easy with Derek Carr, because you have, number one, you have to have a willing participant to be able to want to move Derek Carr out of here. And if Mickey Loomis is making the decisions, he's not going to want to do that. He's going to be your number one hater and keeping Carr here. He's going to try to get, and I'm telling you straight off, that's what it is. He's going to try to keep this together, and he's going to try to hire a coach that feels the same way. So if you want a yes man that's going to do that, You hire Rizzi because he'll be the most yesiest of the yes men that you ever seen. And he'll stand up there with that bullshit face like he showed during the press conference right after the game and talked about how he was proud of the players. And I'm like, what? And I bust that Russell Westbrook.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah, that's why I had to bust that on. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? That's stupid. You know what you talking about? But the issue is you have to get accountability here. And until that happens, I don't see the Saints really breaking out of this. They got to get from up under Mickey Loomis' decision making. He is the proverbial person that's responsible for what's happening to the team. His bad vision. Then he's a stubborn bastard. So at the end of the day, it'll be tough, to see what Gail does. So my number one thought is going to be looking at Gail to see how she handles this situation. Because she's also under pressure to sell. It's a lot of people are now promoting that she sell. Now, that wasn't something that we've seen in previous years, right? We didn't see, we heard it, the rumors around the outside, but then now it's a strong push for her to sell because they don't think she could fix it, that she knows enough to fix it. Now, the crazy part about it is Gail could hire a firm. She can hire a firm and tell them, because this been done before, where you'll have a firm and she tells them what she's looking for, and the firm will go out and interview the people. This kind of stuff has happened before, right? She don't have to know how to build the car to make money off the car to own the factory, as long as she got competent people, like engineers in there and people that she trusts the board to make sure she do it. She can make money off that all day. That's like the person that owns a pizzeria he don't have to know how to fix pizza. As long as he's hiring the right people that do, he'll make money in that field. That happens all the time. But as far as her situation is concerned with the Saints and the Pelicans, she can't not have her not knowing and the team president not knowing and her over relying on a guy that's not the right guy making the decisions. And that's the same with Mickey Loomis and the same with David Griffin as Griffin. You see? You can't have that. And plus, you need to have accountability. Somebody needs to be looking over their shoulders and holding them to some kind of plan. You can't hire a guy and then he screws up and he just has the ability to keep resetting over and over. No, it don't work like that. No. We don't do that here. You have to be accountable. If you're failing and you're not doing the right job, you said you was going to do this, why you didn't do it? You evaluated it. If not, then we're going to get you on up out of here. You're going to sit here and make effed up decisions in perpetuity. It's not going to happen. We're not going to let you do it. So at the end of the way we got to clean it up by not supporting this nonsense. That's the bottom line. It's my Saint and Pelican people. That's the bottom line. That's how that goes. So in the end, can Gail do it, man? Yeah, I think she can if she knows what the problem is. And there's a little fracture, maybe not so little, but a big fracture when she fired Dennis Allen, told Mickey to fire him, and Mickey didn't want to do it, and she forced him to do it because prior to that, she was going all on his vision. When that happened, that created a big fracture of trust with her and him. Is it enough? Well, it should be grown a lot larger how the season turned out, because Mickey Loomis, only thing he can go and tell her is that, hey, Gail, we had a bunch of injuries, which is what he said last year. He said it the year before. How you can't in Foreverland use the excuse over and over again to get you out of harm's way. And they give you a cheap or a free pass from accountability land. So we had a bunch of injuries. And the question is, so have these other teams. Everybody has injuries. You're not building your team to absorb injuries, because you still have to win the game regardless of whatever happens. And I would contest that a lot of the games that we lost, we had the personnel there. We had enough people to win, but doing the right thing, mentality-wise and intelligence-wise, really hurt us. Like what happened in the game with Green Bay. The fact of the matter is that the Saints offensive line, who was being counted upon, did not come to play. They did not get off the plane, but I guarantee you they wanted their damn money after the game was over with. They did not show up. They did not get off the plane, but they want their damn money though. See, and that right there just pisses me off right there. How do you get paid for? They shouldn't have not taken a check on that game. Them guys was crap on that offensive line. Absolutely garbage. They don't deserve a paycheck after what you watch. You watch that film like I watch, it'll piss you off. I couldn't even go through the whole thing. I kept shutting it off. We did the Patreon on it. So anyway, let me then bounce to you. Y'all got any questions? Shout out to you guys on Christmas Eve here, man, talking at you. I'm gonna be here for a few more minutes. Then I've got to go. But listen, y'all got questions. Now's the time. Let's hear what you got, man. Let me see what I can do with that. Maul says, Q, do you see Lauscher and Mickey deterring Gail from getting a new gym? Yeah, because he wants to. Mickey Loomis, absolutely. Gail, hold on now, Gail. Gail, you don't need a new general manager. Baby, I'm all you need. Hold on now. Hold on. Let me flex for you. Listen, I'm all the man you need, Gail. I mean, I'll tell you something here. Hold on. I'm all the man you need. Slick Mickey is all you need, baby. I'm telling you something. Hold on now. In my younger day, I kind of looked at it as a kind of a playboy there. No, we good on that, Mickey. Can't get Gail with one of them. No, they'll definitely, he'll detract to Mickey, and Mickey would be, hold on, baby. I'm all the man you need. No. Don't go for that, Gail. Yeah, she knows, like I said, it's mistrust there, because what he was telling her about the winning and success, this team went backwards, family. They went from wherever they were last year to 5-10, totally backwards. They're collapsing. And he's going to blame it on injuries, and that's not going to work, because we're not tolerating that excuse. We're not playing with that. We're not doing the injury thing. We're not using injuries as an excuse for the Saints, neither the Pelicans, because everybody has them. You have to be able to adjust and move around. All right, Chantel, shout out to you, says, Q, I want your opinion. I have an interview. I want to send you. Myles Garrett gave Cleveland an ultimatum, but they're trading him. He has no trade clause. One of his options is Saints. What's your opinion? Oh, wow. Myles Garrett he wants to be traded to the New Orleans Saints. Number one, that is absolutely amazing. And number two is, I don't know how we can afford him. I don't know how, because he has a nice contract. It's going to be interesting to see if we can make something work there, So, I mean, that takes some imagination, but I absolutely would love to have him and Carl Granderson there on the line, man. Chase Young, I know that would definitely mean you moving beyond Chase Young. If that's the case, if you can land him. But what do they want? We have to figure out what the trade package to get a Myles Garrett would look like, because we know that they're gonna want a lot for that. But yeah, Chantel, thank you for that. That would be awesome. But we have to figure out what a trade package for Myles Garrett looks like if this is what they want to happen. We'll just have to wait and see. But that we'll see what they want for him. How many draft picks and all this kind of stuff. We'll have to put it together. All right. Yeah, thank you, Chantel. English says, Q, has the multi-year dysfunction affected the ability of the next coach to salvage your young players? It depends on the coach, bro, because the new coach coming in, he don't care about what happened last year. The guy is going to look to establish his own mark on the team. So he knows he's coming into a tough terrain, and that he will have to turn around and fix some stuff. So getting familiar with whatever the team is, the problems and issues, because most coaches, if you're prepared, if you're looking at becoming the player of the head coach of that team, you're going to do all the research you can do on what happened and why did they fail. Because, what your money looking like, what your draft capital looking like, what's the strengths of my team? What's the weaknesses of my team? The strength of the Saints team right now, what's the Saints' strength? They still have a lot of very good players that I like. Alvin Kamara is still a top player in this game. A healthy Chris Olave, we'll see what it look like. Rashid Shaheed is there. So they do have some promising talent there. Tali Fuaga is going to play a lot better. So, I mean, you do have some really good players right there. The strength, that's the young players of the strength. But you also have a lot of confusion at key areas, rather, it's a better word, of the team. Like, for instance, the Saints' offensive and defensive lines were problems all year long. if you have a strong offense and defensive line, you win a lot of these games the Saints struggle with. Look how Green Bay dominated the Saints on those 3 first possessions. That second possession that they went all the way from inside of their 5-yard line and brutalized the Saints for a 9-minute drive and got a touchdown on them and wore the Saints defense out. That was strictly physical running, not just, just brutalizing the Saints with Josh Jacobs. Then they had a series of very slick plays where they were doing misdirection. You had guys crossing in front of each other in front of the quarterback, confusing the defense. That was stuff that Clint Kubiak was supposed to do. When you seen a lot of what Green Bay was running was play. That's what Kubiak was supposed to bring to the Saints consecutively and consistently. It didn't happen. So you've seen a lot of really interesting plays, like the play where Kraft, the tight end, was lined up at the tight end position. Then you've seen Jordan Love in the shotgun. Then Kraft then shifts into motion because he double shifted. He was from the right side and he went into motion to the left side. Then he stopped right there like he was going to play tight end on the left side. And then he of the left tackle. Then he was on the left side there. Then he shifted again, went back into motion, and then got behind, got right up under the center. Then they snapped the ball. He became a running back and got the first down. Stuff like that is, very good and imaginative plays because it's constantly forcing the defense to pay attention to the motion going on. And every time that happens, the defense like, okay, they have to adjust to it. And you're hoping within that, that half a second or a quarter of a second that it causes them to think. And then you can able to take advantage of them. While they're thinking, you're reacting, you got them at a disadvantage because that's what it's all about. Instead of playing instinctually, you got them out there thinking what's going on here. And as they thinking, it slows the game down for them as opposed to them need to be read and react. They're thinking the offense has the advantage. And that's why all these misdirections and these movements, it forces the defense to think about what's going on. And while they thinking, the offense is hitting them with whatever they got going on. And they did that against the Saints. And really the thing that helped it, because that second drive, just to be honest with you, that second touchdown that the Green Bay Packers had, which was the 9-minute drive that they walked the ball down the field, would never have happened if it wasn't for one of the defensive linemen for the Saints getting a penalty to help create a short situation where Jordan Love was able to do a QB sneak and get a new set of downs, and then they just walked the ball with passes and running attack all the way down the field for 9 minutes or something. They marched like 93 yards for a touchdown on the Saints. That was the second drive, but that was inspired by a Saint penalty that gave life to Green Bay, because prior to that happening, Green Bay was going to punt the ball because they were backed up near the goal line. They wasn't playing that well with those plays, but the moment that penalty happened, it set them up where they were short, and then they got in the groove and they went down the field on the Saints. So you in the building, when you're in somebody else's environment, you can't have all these stupid pre-snap penalties you've seen the Saints have, like Cam Jordan, encroaching on them and doing that. Tanu passing, encroaching on them, that kind of foolishness happening. You can't have that. Tali Fuaga false starting, Lucas Patrick false starting, all this foolishness going on. You can't do that in their building and expect to come out and win a game. You defeating yourself, because if anybody's in control of the pre-snap penalties, it's you. You control those, and we just didn't do a good job on it. But yeah, a real coach that's serious about winning, that's an organizational minded coach would not take a job unless he knew what he was getting into. He knew what the strengths of the defense are, or the strengths of the offense, or the strengths of the team period is. Do I need a leader here? Is the quarterback I have a guy that I can trust in and work with? You see what I'm saying? Can I get this guy to work? But most of the time, if you're a new coach, you want a new quarterback. You don't want somebody else's, pardon my French, trash. You know what I'm saying? I'm not calling Derek Carr trash, but I'm just saying that's the term. You don't want somebody else's second hand, stuff. You want your own guy. So if you fail with your own guy, not somebody else's guy or player or whatever. You get me? But in the end, all I'm saying is that, yeah, a good coach gonna know what he's walking into, man, and he's gonna do the landscape, and he's gonna survey and make sure he gets the optimal success that he can have. And that's what kind of coach you want, somebody that's smart that can do that. Tuck said, "What's up, Tuck?" Says, "Q, any thoughts on Oregon QB? Sorry, Dylan Gabriel as an NFL prospect. Yeah, that guy, a lot of people are kind of, is he coming out? Is he declaring for the draft? I want to say about Gabriel because isn't that, I want to see, does he have some more years of eligibility? I don't know because I don't know if he's coming out in the draft. I'm gonna have to look into it a little bit more because I don't know. Is he coming out of the draft? If he's coming out of the draft, did he already say that? I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into it. I know he's a hell of a quarterback, though. You know, he's a little bit. But you know, that's the thing about him. He's a ball player. He's a little guy, though. You know, he's like what? I don't think he's 6 feet tall. He's, I mean, maybe put some platform, put some platform cleats on him. But nah, he's a little dude, but he could play. He could play ball, though. I ain't gonna lie. It's like Kyler Murray is like 5'7". I think this guy's like 5'11" something. I know he's less than 6 feet tall, but he could play. You know, so I don't know, man. That'll be interesting to see. I'm gonna have to look into it to see. But if he's coming out, man, I don't see him as like a top 5 prospect because they're gonna play or hate him on his size. He's a little dude, but he's super productive. But at the end of the day, we had Kyler Murray's before, which you could not, deny his ability because he's an undersized quarterback. You go way back in the day, it was a guy like Doug Flutie, who you just couldn't deny his ability. He's a little dude, but he's special. But at the end of the day, we have to see what's going on. I think Gabriel is a really good quarterback, just a bit undersized. He can make the throws, but that whole debate happens in the NFL about size and height and how it will translate for him at the next level. So yeah, I think he's a good guy. I just don't know where you would place him. But I'm gonna have to look into it. I'm gonna look into it. Yeah, we got some draft stuff coming up real soon, to be honest with you, man. It's about that time, right? What's up, Randy? Shout out to brother Randy, man. Say, hey, Q, I think we need to get an offensive minded head coach who can unlock Rattler like O'Connell did Sam Darnold and Liam Cohen with Baker Mayfield. Yeah, quarterback whisperer is what you're hitting on there, brother Randy. That's a good one. I mean, yeah, I do lean on that side. People say, well, who you like? I like, I prefer to have an offensive minded coach. Why? Because we've been having a lot of problems offensively lately. And then we just had a dumbass coach that was a defensive minded coach, and it really didn't get us anywhere. He just basically said here and gave them a bunch of resources, say, this is for you. I'm going back over here in my office. If you need anything, holler. And then whatever mistakes made, he just stepped up and took the blame for him. He didn't make any changes like he was supposed to. As a coach, he didn't go over there and say, hey, man, you stink with these offensive play calling. Let me make this run game coordinator. Let me see let him call the plays and see how they switch up. And I'm going to holler at you in a week. Let me see if that changes. So he didn't do none of that. Didn't do none of that. I think John Benton needs to be called to the carpet of how these offensive linemen look. And Benton surprised me. I thought Benton, and he usually is a pretty decent offensive coach, but these guys are not playing. These offensive linemen not playing inspired. The backups are dumb and weak. The starting 5 guys make a ton of errors and mistakes. I just don't get it. But yeah, a lot of these guys need to be called to the carpet on how these players are performing. It's not, what's his face? Ty Grantham shouldn't be the only fall guy. Why wasn't they? I'm pretty sure they got a Ty Grantham on the offensive line. You get what I'm saying? They had a Ty Grantham over there screwing up, doing some stuff over there he had no business doing. Why we ain't demote from there? Because that guy didn't go over. He didn't touch that offense. We talking about the guy we got right now. The guy that goes, hold on now, we know. Listen, we looked at the film. I just told y'all, we looked at the film, and I didn't see any lack of effort. I didn't see any lack of effort. When the guys played hard, we just didn't execute. We didn't execute because we waiting on Darren Carr. We didn't execute. We didn't. Nah, man, get out of here. What are you talking about? And that makes you a joke. That makes you sound like a simpleton. That makes you seem untruth telling. It makes you look like a liar. It makes you look stupid. It makes you look foolish. To take pride in a team that didn't score any points, that got blanked 34-0, and you talking about you ain't see any lack of effort. What you talking about? I've seen a ton of lack of effort, and I don't count bad lack of effort. I'm talking successful effort. It's just stupidness. Either he don't know how to look at tape, or he just full of shit. And I think it's more of the second than it is the first. And he been showing you a little bit more and more when you ask him about questions about the offense. You get this stupid look on his face. I did a thumbnail when I showed you the stupid look when he parshes his jaws and then he looks straight ahead. That's his bullshit face. Because he don't do that when he talk about the defense or the special teams. He talks with confidence. But when he goes to talk about the offense, he got this stupid face that he shows where his cheeks get parsed like that, and then he just stares straight ahead. You know, that type. I was like, yeah. Because I read it, man. I can see I can see the man on. No, you ain't it, brother. We're gonna send you back to where you belong in special teams land after this. So don't worry, you're a little bit out of touch right now, but in a little bit you'll be going right back to what you've been doing for years, being a special teams coach, fussing at punters and shit like that. That's more your speed, sir. We're gonna send you back to where you're comfortable at right there. Okay. All right. Appreciate you for your service. Thank you for what you did. We're gonna send you back to where you belong in a little bit. All right. Anyway, big ups. What's up, Sean? Big ups to my brother Sean. Mr. Savage says we're cooked. Please rebuild. Anyway, Merry Christmas. Take you. Hand clap for you, brother. Hand clap for you. Shout out to T Dirty. What's up, T Dirty? Shout out to my brother T Dirty, man. Much love, bro. All right. What's up, OG to the third degree? Big ups to you. Black and Gold says, Black and Old Gold says, Q would prefer, he says, who would you prefer the Saints to draft as a QB and hire as a coach? Well, ideally, I don't know if we'll be high enough to get one of the top guys, you know, that'll be available. I know the top two guys they're looking at are Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. And a lot of people anticipate them to be going within the first 5 picks. Then, of course, if you were fortunate enough to get up that high, and sure, because a lot of people anticipate Shedeur Sanders, to be gone. And even if the Saints were there at that pick, I don't think Deion Sanders would allow him to come to the Saints. I'm just being honest, because, you know, that's the whole thing, too. If Deion don't like who you're going to, because he wants them guys to play in Shedeur anyway, to be in the top-notch situation, whereas Oakland, or not Oakland, but Las Vegas would be perfect. I think they like the Raiders. The Giants would be very interesting, too, because it's a big market team. But to the Saints, I don't know if Deion would even let him come down here, you know, because it'd be a question about what are you doing drafting my son? What about Derek Carr? What are you doing with him? You know, it'd be that type of situation because he don't want his son to go to a screwed up environment. And I'm not mad about that. You know, I know he wants to look out for him. So, yeah, but I don't know if the right quarterback would be in the draft for the Saints. Those are the two top guys you're looking at, Cam Ward and Deion Sanders. These other guys, I think they're not on that level. I think some of these other quarterbacks they have are actually pretty good, but I think they have a lower grade in terms of where you would draft them at. And my pick, I guess I would definitely like the offensive coordinator from the Detroit Lions. I would like him, but then again, he's going to be very sought after, you know, and I don't know if the Saints would put up the money necessarily to hire the man. He gonna more than likely want to come in and bring his own quarterback in here. The Saints have all these weird money restrictions, and depending on who he's gonna be working with, Mickey Loomis, is Mickey Loomis gonna be trying to and we know the answer is yes. He's gonna try to pick coaches that will keep his stupid ass vision of trying to keep the Saints on this current trajectory in terms of the cap situation, keeping these contracts. Because a lot of these players, the truth of the matter, the Saints could either release them and have to use younger players to replace them. And it's tough doing that because if you're restricted and you're $60 million in the red, what you doing trying to release a Cam Jordan or any Tyrann Mathieu or any of these older players? You're stuck with them, right? You know, you're just stuck with them because you can't trade them. Who's going to give you fair value for a Ty? You're not going to get a fair value on trade for Tyrann Mathieu or Cam Jordan. And you say, okay, just trade Derek Carr. Who's going to take him? Then teams are not going to take Derek Carr on an escalating agreement, and he's getting older. His money's going up as the contract is getting older, and he's getting older too. So it's an escalating contract. with an older player who keeps getting hurt. That is not a good trade chip. You're not going to get value for him. And then the money situation is crazy behind Derek Carr too. And I just don't think Mickey Loomis is going to cut him, designate him a post, cut or whatever the case may be. I just don't see him doing that. I just don't see it happening. So I don't know, it's weird situations like that happening. But Ben would be the guy I would pick. Another choice there's a couple of guys. I'm going to do a show on it and throw a few of these guys up here. But I prefer offensive, man. We did the defensive thing, unless it's a phenomenal mind, defensively speaking, that understands the principles of the offense and how to challenge them and knows how to pick guys to compete. And I do like a guy like Brian Flores. I'm not going to lie. I think Brian Flores has D'Amico Ryan's potentiality. I do. When you look at what he got a head coaching pedigree a bit with the Dolphins. He went over there and showed what he can do. Everywhere he goes, he gets them together. I think Flores, where is Flores? With the Vikings right now? Is it Flores with the Vikings? I think he's with the Vikings. Isn't he running the defense from the Vikings? Where is he at right now? Wherever he goes, man, shit snap together, man. They get on another level because the dude's really good. He's a really good communicator. He's young enough where he can relate to the players. He's a no-nonsense type of personality, and he's really sharp, So with him having that opportunity that he had with Miami, it was just a messed up situation because that guy was out there trying to tank, and he was telling him to tank games. They was trying to do some finagling stuff. He got a lawsuit on their ass, and then he got back in the league. He's still doing his thing. So I like Brian Flores, man. I think he got some sneaky good potential, like a D'Amico Ryans type, galvanized and force for a team. I like that. I like that guy. I think he can be something special for the Saints if they're looking in that direction. But I know he's a defensive guy. But outside of that, my first choice is offense because our offense been stinking. It's been sucking. We need a guy that really understands that. Mr. Savage says, "Q, I still have faith in Riley. Just needs time to develop." What do you think? I think that's the point. He's just a rookie. But you gotta. A lot of people looking at Riley say Riley ain't it. It's hard. You can't gauge him after 1 year, and you put the starting quarterback out there, he'll struggle like Rattler did, probably worse. Like I said, it's tough when you have an offensive line that is not protecting them. If you go back and watch that tape yesterday about the Green Bay game, you'll see everything I saw. The Saints offensive linemen from the first series, guys were getting back there on them guys, forcing them out of the pocket, that kind of stuff. He couldn't even set and throw. He spent a lot of time sliding, moving, scooting outside of the pocket. He couldn't get comfortable. And it just festered during the game. And the Saints could not provide a steady running attack to balance off of them. And then what happened is the offensive linemen didn't do their jobs, and it really fell on the quarterback, the rookie, to try to make some plays. And, of course, it's going to end like that. That's a part of the game. They fell right into the Green Bay Packers' hands. It went just like that because the Saints had no counterpunch on nothing the Packers were doing. The offensive linemen could not have a letdown performance like they had in the first half of the Washington game. You could not do that. But the first half of the Washington game became the full game for the Green Bay game. Like I keep telling people, man, the Saints offensive line is not as good as you think they are, especially Cesar Salad Ruiz and Eric McCoy, who's getting hurt a lot. He keeps getting hurt. It's a physical season, but at the same time, we're paying these people a lot of money and they need to produce. If they can't produce, they need to get the F up out of here, man. This is business. It ain't got nothing to do with personal. We trying to win something. We ain't got time to play games with these people. Either you get it together, you got to go, man. Lucas Patrick shouldn't have even been a starter. Cesar Salad got one good year. He got the contract on there, and he stays stealing money from the Saints. That guy stays stealing money. That's why I call him that. God damn it, he proved me wrong. Come on here, Cesar Salad, and explain why you keep getting beat every other goddamn play. You act like you don't know who you blocking. You look weak at times, guys pushing you to the side, turning you into a cheap revolving door. I mean, come on, man. Tape don't lie. I don't know what Rizzi talking about, man. He full of that bullshit is what I'm saying. He talking about these guys. He proud of them. I ain't proud of nothing that offensive line doing. They didn't even deserve to take a check. They should have not accepted a check for that performance because that was stealing. What you seen yesterday, and they got a direct deposit after the game, that's called stealing. They didn't do nothing to deserve that money. Them people didn't even get off the plane. I'm just come on now, keep it all the way funky with me on that. That's the truth. They did not deserve to get paid yesterday, but yet they got paid. That's stealing. That's stealing. You stealing time like a dog. That should be terminated right there. It's a terminatable offense. That's a turn. You supposed to be you stealing time on the clock. Your ass is fired, Jack. Get your ass up out of here. All right. Anyway, Miss Savage says, why do you feel like Loomis is just, he says, our Jerry? No, he's not our Jerry, man. This guy's just an employee, man, that's placed out. They're over relying on him like he's some kind of, like he's some type of sage or something. Mickey Loomis is I told y'all this years ago that Mickey Loomis is a gopher. That's all he ever been. That's all. When Sean Payton had him here, he was a gopher. Sean told him, go get me this. He went and made the groceries. That's all he did. Sean Payton cooked all the meals. And when Sean Payton left and went somewhere else, all these guys was exposed. Pete Carmichael was exposed, and that's why Sean Payton never let him run the offenses. Remember we used to ask the question, why has Sean Payton been here for all these years? He never let Pete Carmichael be an offensive coordinator, even though he had the title. Well, now you know. Now, where's Carmichael? He over there with Sean Payton in Denver. These guys ain't shit on their own, is what I'm trying to tell y'all. And the proof is in the pudding. Let's keep it all the way funky. You know, they ain't shit without Sean Payton. That's all the way true talk. Mickey Loomis ain't shit without Sean Payton. And Pete Carmichael ain't shit without Sean Payton. Come on. Dennis Allen ain't shit without Sean Payton. None of them had. They had the same money. They had the same better players, better teams. Couldn't put it together. That man spent more time undermining this team than doing anything. And Mickey Loomis set up here and let it all happen. And then when they tried to fire him after losing 7 straight games, he argued with her to not do it. What kind of idiot is this? You want that fool to be the guy to get you out of hell's door? Man, get out of here, man. Oh, no. I don't have time to play around with these people, man. We know what the problem is. We don't got time for you to pretend like you don't know what it is. Since you don't know, we'll tell your ass what to do, and you go and look into it for yourself. It shouldn't be that hard of a find once we tell you. We're telling you the truth. Hey, man, it's stupid to have a general manager of a football team or a basketball team that don't know nothing about the sports on the court or on the field as their boss. Create a position for that guy to be in so he can handle the business. Make him the business manager or business president operation, whatever the title you want to create for him, and put somebody there at that president position that know about football and basketball. That's what you do. Take the general manager position away from Mickey Loomis and give it to Kai Hartley or another credible person that you interview with a good resume. This is simple shit. This simple. This ain't hard to figure out. We don't know what to do. No, we know exactly what to do because we know our team and we know what the problem is. We know who the problem is. Come on, man. None of this shit. I've been saying this for weeks. It ain't hard to fix this. It's time for y'all to get in line. If we got to rip money from y'all and grind you to a halt, then that's what we got to do because we ain't playing no more. We tired of it. We thought you was going to fix it, but you just showed that you're greedy and incompetent. So this is what we got to do to get you right. Yeah, and we just fulfilling what our ancestors did, the people from the past that did when they told the saints, we ain't giving you no money until you fix it, and they got serious and fixed it, didn't they? That one drove them when they did that. That drove the saints to getting the best personnel in there to win a championship, and it worked. We doing it again. We just running the cycle. It's time for that again. Black and Old Gold says, Q, what Jalen Milrose, Quentin Ewers, and Carson Beck? I do like those guys. I think Jalen Milroe, a lot of people got different grades on him because they kind of seeing him like I don't know, even say a Jalen Hurts type, you know, but Milroe's got big play potential, but they don't see him as a passer, right? Sketchy passer, almost similar to an Anthony Richardson, right? I'm telling you, when that happened, they're going to start showing you the comparisons and the comps, because that was the same thing that I'm hearing about Jalen Milrose when I'm hearing about Richardson. And the verdict is still out on him, by the way, right? Still out on him. But Ewers from Texas, He might be something there. He might be. I think his play, he played really solid for Texas this entire season. And he did that with Manning's boy on his back. You know what I'm saying? With Manning's boy on his back, he still played big. So he needs to be a guy that you pay attention to. Pay attention to him because he, like I said, that guy had Arch Manning as a backup on his back, and he just need to have a bad game or 2 bad games, and they yanking and put Manning's son up in there, putting Cooper's son, that's Cooper's boy, putting him in there. But look how Quentin handled it though. He played big, and he deserves some respect. That he should be considered inside the top 3 to 5 quarterbacks in the draft. So yes, he's a guy that you need to look at too. But see, his stock will go up depending on how he plays in the college football playoffs. His stock will rise depending on his play when the playoffs is over with in college. Then you'll see him place there because that's all they waiting to see, how he handles the big spotlight. So is he as good as what you think you are? You'll see him in the conversation. Some people, depending on how he played, might even put him just above Cam Ward. Now, I like Cam Ward a lot, but Cam Ward had some bad performances toward the back end of college, the regular season. He didn't look too good. He kind of, at one point, Cam was up there, but he had some bad performances. It kind of dropped him a bit. So, we watching to see what happened. And Beck is hurt, isn't he? I want to see Carson Beck. Isn't he injured? But he's another quarterback. I don't know. He's an interesting one. He could play, but I don't know if you would consider him like a first-round draft pick type quarterback. He might be something in the later rounds, second and back. I don't even know, late second, somewhere in there. But yeah, Quentin is another dude you're looking at right now. So yeah, there's a couple of these guys we're looking at, man, that I've been paying attention to, man. It's that time of the year, All right. Thank you for that, brother. Appreciate you, man. Any more questions? Giovanni, what's up? Giovanni says, has Gail done us a disservice by acting too slow, Q? She counting on her guys, man. To see, the crazy part about it is this got to be to a degree a little. And listen, let's look at it like this too, because Gail is relying on her dead husband's guys. And I said this before, but I also threw this look on it too, family. Think about it like this. She's relying on who he said to her would be the people that you could trust, that would make the right decisions, right? And she loves her husband and she listened to him. She was the one teaching her the game. When he was going to these meetings, Gail was right by his side, going in the meetings, in the NFL meetings, the owner meetings, and all in the NBA meetings. He was sick at that time, but he still was making business moves. Prior to him even passing away, he was making business moves. He did the brewery thing. He did the beer thing out there, had the beer going on because he got tired of spending all that money on beer. So what he did was he bought that beer and he used the beer that he bought to furnish in his stadium. And he saved a ton of money doing that. That little dude, that old man there was crafty as you can get. True New Orleans. But at the end of the day, he left her this staff, right? The caveat that I was explaining to the family members was when that man transitioned and closed his eyes and left the team in her hands, and this is a big responsibility for Gail, who was an interior decorator prior to this, to be, you can enjoy the money and spend it, but when it comes down to you being a competent owner, that's a large task for somebody that ain't even the world they come from, right? And she relying on these guys. But when that guy died, them guys that you got running the team became separate. They became different people. These not the same tempered people that were there when Tom Benson was running the team. You think Mickey Loomis would be allowed to talk to the Who Dat Nation and the reporters like that if Tom Benson was alive? He know it, and I know it. He'll be checked on that shit. He'll be checked on it like I'm checking him on it. You think he'd get away with all that snobbish bullshit that he was saying over the years? He would not be able to get away with that. When Sean Payton was the head coach of the team, Sean Payton didn't have the big head either. He had the big head when Tom died, but when Tom Benson was here, he was quiet as a church mouse when Tom Benson was calling on him. you know. And I use the terminology not to be disrespectful, but they were like trained SEALs in the building when Tom Benson was in there, man. Come on. Tom Benson was every bit of an alpha dog. Them dudes was like trained SEALs in there with the big red ball. You throw it at them, they go, oh, 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 balance the ball on their nose and shit. Here, take this. Balance, oh, 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 oh. Throwing them fishes and shit. Man, come on, man. These people wasn't the same. They ain't have the same temperament when Tom Benson was alive. But when he left and closed his eye, all that shit changed, man. These people became arrogant and cocky. And we got it made now. We got it made now. Somebody that come along to know what they're doing, that changes everything. And there is no, if you're a real general manager, you would make yourself present. Only a sneaky, snaky, underhanded dog don't want to be asked questions to. If you have the plan and it's a truthful plan, then it can withstand my question. It can withstand the media's questioning. But he won't run around here and do what he does and don't want nobody to ask. You don't think we know that? We see what you're doing there. You stop letting Bobby Hebert ask you the questions. And now you're getting this softball brown-nosing ass Mike Hoss asking you these questions. He don't even ask questions. You know, most of the times it'd be soft ass tissue paper questions that he answers. Or he just prattles on some dumbass statement and Mickey Loomis jumps on the back of the statement. You know, it's just it's shameful is what it is. And it just shows and underscores how ridiculous, thin-skinned, and unaccountable this clown is. And this guy doesn't have what we need to have to turn this around. Matter of fact, he's directly responsible for it. Tom Benson would never have tolerated none of this foolishness these clowns putting up there. But I say all that to say that she got it slow because she was trusting them dudes, because she trusted what her dead husband told her who these people were. Now she's coming to a realization to know these guys ain't who she thought they were. Think about that. Because people think, why don't she get it, Q? Why don't she get it? She did eventually, but it took fractures and pressure. Remember what they say about pressure? Pressure busts pipes. And we had a lot of pressure on them this year. Guess what? It didn't hold up. She forced him, went over Loomis and told him, listen, you're going to fire that guy. Why? Because Gail went and talked to the players and she heard from you. That's one thing you're going to get. And the thing that's great about Gail is she's a socialite. Let me tell you something about Gail Benson. Gail Benson is out there. She's a socialite. She goes to all these charities. She got a lot of money. She do a lot of good for the community. She was not out there right now prior to Christmas giving out presents and all that. She was up at the schools giving out money and gift cards and all that. She got a lot of money, but she is very charitable. She's a socialite. She's out there mingling and doing positive stuff. She's out there. You can see Gail hugging on people and shaking hands and all that. She loves that. That's what she does. And that makes her accessible to you. See, they can't hide her somewhere in the ivory tower with that dumbass Mickey Loomis is doing, where he go in there and shut the door and he don't talk to his players, but he's supposed to be some type of general manager. He don't even talk to the players. He was listening exclusively to Dennis Allen. He didn't even talk to the players. He could have did what she did. What stopped him from doing what she did? Go talk to the players. She went and talked to the supporters and to the players. She heard from you and fired that dude over Mickey Loomis saying, no, don't do it, Gail. Don't do it, baby. Hold on. Don't do it. Fired his ass. Get on out of here. That's a big fracture there, man. Listen to me. That ain't a small thing. So she had to have an awareness is what I'm saying, Giovanni. She had to have an awareness because it took a while because she was trusting them. She had her awareness. She know better now. Now that she knows better now, let's see what she do. Now you got what we got. Now you hearing it, and the fact that she heard us because the reports told you that's why they got rid of them. The reports came out and I credited the media. I said I gave them much love and respect for that because they could have spent it like it was something else, but they told the truth. It's like the support base, the reason why she put them in the street. She heard you. She heard you. She also heard you say we ain't spending no money. And she's like, oh, time to go because none of them that important. You can't stand before the Who Dat Nation, man. It's all about the money for them. But if you're going to get the bread, you got to win. That is a standard that you have to set. Anything else less than that is irresponsible, and you deserve whatever you get. It's the same thing happened in the country today. You can't let people operate with immunity, and you can't let them operate without any accountability, man. Like I said, you have a banana republic. You can't let intelligence agencies break the rules without punishing them. You can't let that happen. That's been happening for years. You know, you have anarchy. You can't let that happen. People, if there's laws and rules out there, everybody's supposed to be on them. I don't care how rich you are. You cannot skirt them. And that is not up to them. That's up to you. You have to be smarter to the process is what I'm saying. And by your intelligence, you make them accountable. And that's what I've been hitting on for years. That's all I'm saying. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Tuck says, gotta go. Thanks for Merry Christmas to you. Appreciate you, fam. I'm about to duck out in a little bit too. All right. Arvin says, I never said the fate had anything to do with her business decision. She didn't fire DA outright. She listened to the players since she couldn't tell what was going on with the field. It was also the supporters. It's not just that, fam. Remember, Arvin, there were calls, there were emails, and listen, word got to her. She heard from you and she heard from the players, and she said, why Mickey couldn't do that? Why what's up with Loomis? What, no, better yet, where was Lausch at? Why didn't he go over there and do that? Why didn't Lausch just say, you know what, we got to fire this guy before our team season is over with? Oh, my bad. He doesn't know anything about, quote, the football stuff, end quote, and you need the football stuff to win. It's a joke. I just played that. I wanted y'all to hear that, man, just so y'all can see us. That's why I showed it to y'all. All right. Who else we got? We got a few more things here. Cartel says, Q, the rumor possible demoting Mickey Loomis from the general manager position is the rumors that I'm hearing is supposed to be changed at the administrative level, right? Now, the only change you could possibly think about that would mean anything would be pertaining to Mickey Loomis in that general manager position. We'll see. Now, officially, they'll tell you what they told you a while ago, which is the Saints are prior to them firing Dennis Allen. What was the rules? I brought up all the articles. Remember what they were saying? Oh, no, that's not going to happen. The Saints haven't fired a head coach in the middle of the season since the 80s or whatever the hell he was saying. And I told y'all when I had that article, I said, fam, don't believe it. This ain't the same. We ain't tolerating this. A different energy. That's what I told y'all. And what happened? They fired that guy. Because it's not based on what they say, it's what you say. That's why I keep telling people over and over again. It's not about what they say, it's what you say, because you drive it. If whatever you want, you're going to get it. You just have to stay disciplined, stay on goal, and you'll get everything that you want. Simple as that. As a collective, that's how you operate. You get everything that you want. Just telling you real. It's not about what they say, it's what you say. Because you have all of the power. Because you have the money. And they want what you got. So they gotta placate to you. And if they know you pissed, they gotta make better football decisions, which means they gotta bring in better people. Simple as that. It's not about what they say, it's about what you say. I've said that for a while. All right, Cartel says, Q, why can't Gail make the same decision with Loomis? I think I just covered that. I think I talked about that. Hemisphere says, Q, Duncan reported last Jags game that Gail asked Mickey why the team looks like they don't have a plan. If changes need to be made, she keeping an eye on it. Indeed, he was just lying. Remember I told y'all that when we played the interview, and he said, I talk to Gail almost every day, every other day. I talk to her about the team. What is he saying to her? Y'all think he's saying? I could tell you number one thing he's saying to us, the reason why the team is failing, because we're hurt. We're a banged up team. That's the problem. And then you get your offensive line back, 5 starters back for the offense. You still can't run the ball. Why? Because it's not about injuries, man. It's about mentality. It's about intelligence. That's what it's about. We're not the only team dealing with no injuries. They got people banged up, still winning games. You got to execute. You got to play with the right mentality. This is nothing new. We've seen this happen over and over again. We're not going to let them run the excuse game. That's how they keep generating money and keep putting up bullshit. All right. So anyway, it says Cartels. Thank you, Cartel. Shout out to you as well. Joseph, shout out to you, brother. Good to see you. Anyway, like I said, man, that's some interesting thing to drop on y'all, man, on Christmas Eve, man, we talking black and gold. We talk black and gold anytime, man. It could be New Year's Eve, Christmas Day. It don't make a difference, man. We die hard black and gold. It's what it is. It's how we get our, this is how we gel. This is how we do our thing. But anyway, listen, man, I'm just going to get ready to get on up out of here, man. I'm going to chill. But listen, I just wanted to give y'all a shout out, throw those few solutions at y'all about the team and telling y'all to keep your heads up because it's 5 and 10 team. But at the end of the day, this is necessary. This is necessary to get the growth that we need to go to get where we need to be in the long run, right? A little growing pain is necessary. It's just what it is. All right. So anyway, with that being said, man, I'm gonna get out on that, man. I appreciate y'all, man, for being here. I want y'all to have a fantastic Christmas, man. Much love to y'all, man. Hope y'all doing y'all thing, man. Quickly before I go, man, what's some of the stuff that some of my people want for Christmas, man? Throw a few gifts, man, in the chat. What are y'all guys thinking for Christmas, man? What are y'all in particular, you particularly want for Christmas? Throw it in the chat. Let me see a few things. What are you, after a long year doing what you're supposed to do, handling the business? What do you want for Christmas? Let's put it in the chat and see what the family members say, man. Let's hear what you guys think about what you want for just one thing. What do you want for Christmas? What do y'all want? Hemisphere says Q. Let's get round table. Yeah, I'm gonna work on that, brother. I was thinking about during the season. We're gonna work on that. All right, Wendell, what's up, bro? Says, by the way, valid point, Q, with the need of leadership and intel. It is, bro. Appreciate the comment, but that's what it is. You look at any successful. It don't matter what it is. The right mentality is needed. Success is a mentality that is not dictated by injury. If you got teams failing because of injury, that means intelligence is locked in on a handful of players. And that's why the level of the players dropping, because only a certain amount of players have the intelligence on the team. And when they're there, you see the boosts go up. But that's a problem because everybody, even though you might have different ability levels, the intelligence of the playbook and how to execute properly in the right mentality is needed throughout the team. So if only certain players get it, that's not how it works. Because if they fail or they get hurt, that intelligence is not there anymore. So that's not a correct, successful way to build it. High IQ play, doing what you're supposed to be, being ready, prepared, and executing properly. Man, that's what we need here. And I just don't see that currently with the Saints. All right. T-Roy says, I got it already. Possum stew. All right. Possum stew. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a possum stew. Okay, you got it. That was the one you wanted. All right. That's good. Sean says the Mickey Loomis pink slip. Okay, that's a good one, Sean. Mr. Savage says a rebuild. Okay, that's what you want for Christmas. Arvin says Mickey to get fired. Okay. Dramal says Mickey to get fired. Okay. Chantel says I want a black and gold Super Bowl. Let's go Steelers for Christmas. All right. You might get that for the Steelers. We'll see how they keep playing here, man. We'll see. All right. St. Doug says the best offensive line in the NFL. All right. Cool. Cartel says I just want the entire Great Saint think tank to be empowered and wise and moving forward. You heard me. Amen to that. Let's give you a clap on that one, brother. Cartel thinking about the whole collective. I see what you got going on there. Mr. Savage says to beat the Chiefs by 30. All right. LM says Trevor Penning working at. All right. Anthony says time to fire Mickey Loomis. Okay. Mr. Savage says actually go undefeated and win another Super Bowl. Amen to that. Brother John says, Q, I want the new Ninja Footy Grill. Okay. And to win the Sports Coma Fantasy. I don't know where he is, John, but you might be. I didn't do really good at all this year, man. Hell, I was supposed to show it up the thing I have not done really. I don't even know. I think I started off, I lost 5 or 6 games in a row. It was a tough year for me. I think I finished 500. I think I fought my way back to 500 status. Wasn't a good year for me on the fantasy league. But John, I don't know where you are. You might very well get it, brother. You might win it. All right, Chantel says best Christmas we can want. He says best Christmas we can want, we can't have, which is Mike Tomlin as the head coach. Indeed, Mike Tomlin is not going anywhere. The Steelers would be absolute morons like Mickey Loomis to allow him to leave, and I don't think they're going to do that. They're pretty smart. All right, so anyway, with that being said, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a great Christmas day, and I shall return on Thursday, man, and talk to you more about our beloved Saints, man, and see what they got going on. We got one more matchup or two more matchups left. The Raiders are coming up on Sunday on the short week. We also have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers matchup in week number 18. Saints got 2 more games left to play before we hit the offseason, and then we're going to get some answers, right? All right, so anyway, with that being said, I'm going to holler at y'all on the next one, man. Much love. Who that to you? Merry Christmas, man, and happy holidays to my family. Much love. Peace.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, bugging like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Say they gon' beat them Saints. Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that?
Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your #1 source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to Bet Online today to get in on all the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet Online, the game starts here.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and who that too.